Hey YouTube, how we doing? So, all right, working on the anniversary gift. I've actually got a couple different ideas. I've never done something this large scale before. However, I take it one step at a time and start with the skull. It shouldn't be that big of a deal, right? The problem is I got a couple different ideas going through my head, and I'm not quite sure which way to go. I decided to go with bolt heads, and so if I start using these as like the eye sockets here with the bearings, and I start kind of welding just random bolt heads around it, first of all, it's going to take forever. Secondly, it's not quite the style I'm used to doing. I'm used to taking big pieces of metal, kind of welding them together to make the things that I make. That's what I do. So first off, it's already not what I do, so I'm not too fond of that. So now I'm thinking I change it up a little bit and I start finding things like this. I know a nose isn't really a nose on something, but it doesn't actually have to be an exact replica of a skull, because I'm technically doing this, yes, for the wife, yes, as a skeleton, as a skull type thing, but also technically because we do Halloween up, so it can be a Halloweenish thing, so it can have a nose because it can be more of a monster type look. So I'm now thinking maybe I can do it with just random pieces of metal, because one, that is what I do, and two, it can be Halloweenish. My third thought is I do have a couple of 4 foot by 4 foot chunks of sheet metal, and I can start beating on some sheet metal, make a skull that way, at least the round part of the skull, some sides of the face that way, start incorporating some pieces of metal in that way. So bear with me while I figure this out. I want it to look right, I want it to look good, and most of all, I want it to look fucking cool, because I want it to be around for a while, and I just want it to be done right. So that's where I'm gonna stay for now with the camera part. I'm gonna figure some stuff out. I'm gonna try not to do too much with out filming here, and I'll get back. I hate to say I wasted this many bolt heads cutting, and they might come in somewhere, but as for now, I think I'm gonna set those to the side and waste an hour of time. Probably didn't take an hour, but I'm rambling now, so go back. Okay, YouTube, I got an idea for this skull here. It has nothing to do with the bolt heads, and try and start forming it out of sheet metal here. So I took a square, got 12 by 8 inches, took 4 inches in the middle here. I'm going to cut out this triangle. I went and bought this morning. I had one, but since I gave up half my garage for storage, don't know where it is. I bought a rosebud tip, or whatever. Yeah, I think rosebud tip, rosehead, whatever. This morning for my torch. And I start trying to form it, thinking this would be the back of the head, round it off a bit to make this the front. And I don't know, I've never really formed that type of metal. I've made round bits for Jeep parts and stuff, but we're gonna see. So I got some thin sheet metal, and I'm just gonna start winging it, and we're gonna see what we get. Okay, YouTube. So I'm still not too thrilled with the bolt heads around the eyes, but that's just kind of how it is right now. I can cover a sheet metal if I need to. I'm not too fond of the big wide forehead there that we have going, so I'm gonna just wanted to show you how I just tack the whole piece down here. I'm gonna go ahead and just heat her up with this rosebud bit I got, and we're gonna start the bend about here now. We're just gonna bend it some more. I'm gonna try and keep this video as short as possible. It's gonna be multi anyway. Bye. So right now it looks like a creepy owl in my opinion, but basically I cut 2 more triangles here. Matched them up to the center triangle around the eyes, just kind of tacked the eyes in where I thought they looked good. Took a Sharpie from the back side, marked them out, found something matched the eyes good enough, transferred that mark over to the front side where it matched the marker, and just kind of cut them out. I used my cut wheel on the grinder and very carefully cut them out. Kind of made little triangles, cut them out that way, blah blah blah, and just kind of weld them in a little bit. Now I'm going to take my rosebud tip again and start working my way around one side at a time. Probably get probably about here, weld it as I go, and spin it around and kind of finish the way. This is kind of part of the reason I left big holes in my welding table. Gives me a place to put things that hang down, so that's where the nose will go. It's enough talking for right now. I'm going to get back to work. Okay, so right now, basically on the inside, I start making this thing rounder a little bit. So I took my soapstone, kind of held them together. Drew as straight line as I could on each side here. I'm going to take my cut wheel. I'm going to cut this off so I can weld it together on each side, and then I can take my rosebud and I can start rounding everything out. Come around this way here and this way here, because it's still a little squatty coming through here, and if everything's welded together, I might not weld it quite yet. I got to try and fix this a little bit, but I can at least start coming here and curve it out so it doesn't look quite like a Mardi Gras mask. So anyhow, I'm going to start working that. But I think it starts, now mind you, this is my first time doing something like this, but I think it's got to start by at least cutting these here so I can get at least a look at what everything's going to look like. So that's where I'm going to start it and hope it's not a mess up. Okay, so I was really bad yesterday at keeping up with things. So I think I left off, these two sides were still straight up in the air. So I started welding them, and I did cut a straight line here, and I end up messing up a little bit when I did, because as I curved it around, I ended up with a gap and had to cut out a little triangle to weld in there. Now, as you can tell, I didn't keep my welds pretty. I ground them down just enough, because I am making just kind of a random monster here. So I want a little bit of lines left. Yeah, you can see that there. So I'm leaving a little bit of lines, kind of Frankensteinish, kind of not, kind of in certain places, kind of not. So now I brought the daughter out. She's literally the only person I've shown this to see if she liked it, because I was actually thinking about starting to take about right here and start my bend this way, round these off, but she actually likes it how it is, so it's going to stay how it is. I'm actually a little lopsided here, so I do need to bend this down a little bit and make it even. So it's going to stay how it is. So right now the plan is to cut some new sheet metal and start welding the back side of the head, probably about in here somewhere. So that's the plan right now. But the cool thing is, for this, is I'm actually making it about the right size, where if I take it like this, it's damn near human sized, and I like it. So enough of that, right? So I'm actually liking it a lot. It's got like this weird Birdman monster look. I think I can make it almost samurai-ish if I do it right. So got like a little weird Birdman samurai-ish monster going, and I think it's going to turn out okay. So anyhow, yeah. Okay, YouTube, you might not be able to see that I've done much, but I've been plugging away on him for quite a while. I've kind of tuned up the side of his head. I don't know, I'm getting him to where I liked him. I put some on the back. That didn't turn out near as well as I'd hoped, but I literally heated this guy up red hot, picked up the whole thing, put it on my table, beat the hell out of it, excuse me, and that's about all I've gotten. So I didn't get as much as I hoped roundness out of that. I might work on it again later, but for now we're going to work on his jaw. Did I mention I built a stand for him to sit on? Anyway, I built a stand for him to sit on. So we're going to work on his jaw. Bring us over here to the welding table again. So I was thinking the other part of the thing I use for the alligator teeth. So I might still use this, but right now I'm thinking keep it all out of sheet metal. First thought was, went over this with the daughter. She's the only person that knows I'm building this. Use these and some railroad spikes. The only problem is it look kind of goofy because the railroad spikes are 2 to 3 times as wide as that. So that's just going to look kind of goofy. So I'm thinking I can just cut it all out of sheet metal. Then it's all the same size. So that's probably what I'm going to do. So I'll cut sheet metal, same size as that, because what I figured out here is that actually kind of makes a nice jaw. Size it up with this, it actually kind of looked neat, but the teeth are a little too perfect for our normal monster. It makes them look kind of like robot. We're not making a robot, we're making a monster. So that doesn't work. That would look cool. Looks like an old man with no teeth. Kind of neat, no dentures, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and start carrying on with making the teeth. That'll give us something to take our sheet metal around to. I know we should make top jaw, bottom jaw, but we are going monster, so he could probably just have a top jaw, no bottom jaw. He could have bottom jaw, no top jaw. He could have both and have some jaggedy ass teeth. So I haven't quite decided. I'm just going to start making something. So we'll go here. We'll mark this out with our soapstone. I'll start cutting stuff up. We'll see what we come up with. Okay, YouTube, so I haven't been too happy with this guy yet until now. I actually like him, and I like where he's at. I basically cut 2 more triangles, half triangles. Is 2 inches angled down to a point by the 8 inches to match the original 3 I'd cut. I've just kind of put him here, offset him a little bit to the side of the nose to get him a distorted type look face. Hung him over just a little bit longer on this side. Actually, this was the long side, so hung him over a little bit longer on this side here. So this is what he turned out being right here. On this side, I kind of beat the crap out of him a little bit, and just beat him into shape, heated up the whole thing. Still a little funky on the skull. The back's still not quite where I want him. I'm gonna have to beat that a little bit more. But the face, honestly, I like it. So what I'm gonna start doing is what I normally do, and just start welding some scrap metal to finish off the head. So I'm gonna throw some gears in there. I'm gonna throw some nuts and bolts in there. The sheet metal thing, I've been enjoying it, but it takes forever because I'm new at it, and it's just I like it, I really do, but I'm new and it's taking forever, and I'm not going to be by Friday. I won't even have this skull done at the pace I'm going. So I'm going to start taking some scrap metal and make him look monsterish with just some random things going, some gears, some bolts. So yeah, I'm going to start playing now.